What are men looking for? I'm 38, single, make 70,000 plus a year, speak 6 languages, intelligent, bubbly, kind, honest Latin woman. I've traveled to over 15 countries and have lived in 5. I'm trying to understand what exactly men are looking for these days. I enjoy cooking a variety of dishes from all over the world. I would especially be open to having a house husband that can travel the world with me. With all of this, it's an extremely struggle to date men that are open to relationships. I'm totally lost at what would interest a man. I'm not a gold digger nor the type to play around. Someone please help. You know what matters way more than the qualities you listed. How you make them feel. Honestly, this is an art that has a lot to do with your emotional intelligence, and frankly you may not have control over it sometimes. I had much more quality dates when I started being interested instead of solely trying to be interesting. Next time you go on a date, do a little exercise. For every story/answer you give, ask a question back. Make sure you're listening equally as much as you're talking. Be engaged, and ask follow-up questions. The quickest way to get people to like you, ironically, is to let them talk about themselves. Exactly. I used to make anyone like me by just acting like they were so cool and interesting. Now I realize maybe that was manipulative of me. Manipulation is really just tactics to get your desired outcome. I know it has a negative connotation, but there's healthy ways to do it. And wanting to be liked isn't a bad thing, as long as you're not lying. Oh, sometimes I was lying. I definitely don't find a guy's fifth gun video he's showed me interesting. In fact, I actually want to die, but I'll pretend I love it, lol. Well, there's a spectrum of honesty with manipulation. It is only manipulative if you are dishonest in what you are asking for. Oh man, this is so true. I always end up over-talking because I'm nervous, and I make the false assumption that the more I talk, the more likely I am to convey to them how lovely I am. If I ever date again, it's the number one thing I'd work on. Yeah, I have always been a terrible listener, autistic as well, but when I got divorced I made a conscious effort to try to be a good and attentive listener. I had a few dates where she was talking almost the whole time, but inevitably she ended up thinking we had a great connection, and it at least ended well. It's true that the more someone talks, the more they'll feel a connection to you. I think everyone likes someone who asks them questions about themselves. It's a sign of maturity, I think, to realize you need to ask questions back, haha. I'm usually so desperate to try to get someone to like me that I don't put any effort into learning whether I like them, and this results in me putting on a show for them and asking them nothing about themselves. I'm working on having the confidence to not care so much whether they like me, but to focus more of my attention on whether I like them. It's very hard to get out of my head. Oh yeah, the whole ask them about themselves thing was something I learned, and it's absolutely necessary. This may be why I was so much more successful dating in my 30s than in my 20s. I was never worried about remembering to talk about myself because I always knew as the conversation went on I'd naturally go back to my roots. As someone who prefers to listen, I don't find this to be an undesirable trait at all. I reckon it's circumstantial. I have been doing this naturally with anyone, but it's frustrating when they don't do the same to me. This means they are not interested in me, so I slowly walk myself out of this situation. There's only one person who do this with me, but because she also do it naturally with anyone too. Can't emphasize this enough. It's annoying and lonely and trudging, but you can't force love or lure it to you. That's lust or shared interests with sexuality at best. You'll know with the certain your feet will hit the ground getting off your bed in the morning that the person you meet is your person. Don't ask yourself what you can do be good enough. Start looking for someone who you feel is worth investing your feeling into and see if love blossoms. A million times over I'd take a girl being affectionate and emotionally available over being rich. Exactly. Falling for someone that's affectionate and emotionally available is the natural path of least resistance. I've dated medical doctors, people that are well-traveled, high income, etc. etc. While all of those things are great, nothing beats a warm, understanding, and empathetic person. Willing to go the extra mile to go through tough things with one another and approach every situation with "we can work through this together." This is a great answer. My immediate thought was that you're going to get as many different answers as there are heterosexual-ish men. But I don't think that's really right. For one, not that many people do know what they want, but that's not something you can change. People who are strongly emotionally mature are naturally attractive and present the kind of effortless magnetism that nearly anyone wants to be around. So whether or not people can articulate that they want it, it's something that everyone but the most unhealthy souls act like they want, and respond very well to. There is a lot of good material on emotional maturity, which is maybe a more precise term than emotional intelligence, and it's incredibly helpful yet not particularly complicated. You can find anything from fairly brief articles on Psychology Today to entire academic books on the subject. This is the best answer here. No offense to her, but it doesn't matter how much money she makes or how many languages she speaks. She's listing her attributes as if it makes her more worthy of being lovable. That is a stretch. She doesn't come off as conceited. And too many people here are making assumptions about her character. Not conceited. Most men don't give a damn how many countries you have visited or languages you speak. Those things don't affect our relationship view positively. The world traveler personality appeals mostly to other world travelers who don't like to settle down. And it seems to me there are a lot more women than men who have the nomadic world traveler personality. A 38-year-old male, see profiles like that and it reads to me, I don't hold a job long, probably have a lot of debt and will want to spend all your money and time traveling. Honestly, As a 43-year-old man, that list is exactly the kind of person I would kill to find. LOL. But at the same time, a list like that isn't the main, or even a qualifier for a person I want a relationship with. If we get along, have fun, can trust one another and work through things together, those sorts of things are 100% the weightier considerations. If I find someone that has none of the things you listed, but meets that second set to 80, I'm completely happy. Conversely, if you and I were to meet and not click on that second set, it wouldn't work. But what clicks for one won't click for another, so I guess at the end of the day, don't give up. It's not some check mark or resume item that you lack that is causing men to not want relationships necessarily, LOL, just that you haven't bumped into the one you click with yet. Male, almost 30, 28. Have had some serious health issues that really held me back in life, and while of course I would make my own way, it would be kind of nice not to have to consistently be concerned with my level of poverty and shit. But at the end of the day, it still comes down to liking someone's personality and being able to share intelligent conversations. Beyond that, not much matters. Thanks for this. I worry about not being enough sometimes, but hopefully simple things is something people want. I've found that all of your listed qualities are things women care about in men, not the other way around though. Most men seem to be more into how you look, and how you make them feel. However, dating should be a two-way street. Both should be working to get to know and see if they complement one another. I'm in your same boat, same age, same circumstances, etc. Additionally, I'm pretty tall for a woman, and that alone can be intimidating. I've learned to venture in different circles. Not all men are intimidated by women who are doing well for themselves. By the way, I do love the idea of a house husband, just can't see that situation working out though. Edit. To be clear, I'm personally interested in someone who values all the things up mentioned. They're just few and far between. I think you're spot on. I generally don't fret over someone's specific income, educational level, or worldly experiences so long as they can help pay their way and carry on an intelligent and meaningful conversation. The older I get though, the more I appreciate people who stay in shape. Let's be real. Past 30 it takes some work. I don't plan on sliding gently into physical stagnation, silver fox all the way, so I look for the same perspective in a partner. The kindness part is important too. We've all had rough experiences by our age, 30 plus. So being able to maintain empathy through all of that is a real hot trait. One big reason I am with my girlfriend is that she has the same clean eating habits I do. Way too many people my age, 34, have awful diets, and it shows. So true. I never appreciated how important this is until I had 2 consecutive relationships with people who had very different diets and attitudes toward food than I do. It's the kind of thing that wasn't quite a deal breaker but caused a surprising amount of chronic low-level friction. Diet similarity is definitely higher on my list after those experiences. I actually am a house husband if you'd like to ask me questions about it. My wife is a college professor for a medical topic. She doesn't like me discussing specifically what that topic is, but when we met I was 23-ish and she was 21-ish. Not I'm 39, she is 37. I kind of had difficulty finding my path in life, but we waited until one of us had a career to get married, which happened 2 years after we met. I am employed, and I get free tuition at her school as one of her job perks. I was allowed to sort of follow my dreams for a while and do whatever I wanted. Our combined income is in the $80–90K range, so I had some freedom. To be honest, it's both more complicated and less complicated than you are assuming. 1. No two men want the same thing. 2. Men may have less requirements than you expect. In my case, I wanted a best friend. I wanted someone to share adventures with, and who would be willing to love me even though my career situation wasn't solved. I wanted love. That was all I wanted, to be honest. And we are super happy. It's been almost 15 years together. Edit. I prefer the term trophy husband. Being employed doesn't mean you aren't a housewife/husband. Being at home/responsible for taking care of the home is the designation. If you go by the strictest definition of a house husband, someone who does not work and only stays home, I did that for several years, but I'm less of that now. But it worked for a while. Was surprised many women listed how much money they make and why they still can't find a partner. Because I don't care about that at all and don't know any man that does. Then I noticed that this is in fact part of the qualities many women look for in men. It's because no one wants to admit their insecurities. I'll just address the men are intimidated by women who are doing well because it's something that women struggling to date are telling themselves. Men aren't intimidated by your success. They don't care about it. There is a difference. Women care about a man's wealth and status, but it generally doesn't work like that in reverse. Guys don't rate women by their paychecks or success. Sharing interests is way more important long term. Thanks for watching my channel.